Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. In this technical analysis of the stock market video, I'm going to take a look at the S&P 500 this week, but I'm going to start off here with the dollar index. I call the video Earthquake. 4 weeks ago, I created a video and I called it Tremors. Okay, and that occurred right here in the dollar index, right here. This was July 12th. Okay, Friday, July 12th. And we came right down into this key support zone. Then the following week, on I think it was 17th, I think that was Wednesday, it broke down below it, a little bit of a head fake. Thought, wow, I thought we were really breaking down and we snapped back. But it was really interesting. What ended up happening in here is this pullback was like a little zigzag. After this impulsive move down, we got a zigzag back up. It almost got back to the trend line, and then it collapsed. Okay, and that's what happened here the week before last, and then here's the last week. Here's Monday the 5th, August 5th. So here's that Friday with the jobs report. The dollar index collapses, smashes through this key support area. Let me just throw this out a little bit more. So here's that big trend line I was talking about. Okay, that got broken back here on July 11th. So kind of interesting dynamic in terms of what's going on. Well, this was going on with the dollar index, and what was going on with the Japanese yen. Well, here's FXY. This is the only, I chart this ETF. That's the only thing I've got on the Japanese yen. Well, where's July 12th? July 12th is right here. And the Japanese yen had already started to take off and was skyrocketing. Now, the interesting thing when you look at a weekly view, this has happened a couple more times here in the last couple of years. Here's the fall of 22. Well, we had just had that big sell-off throughout all of 22. And then when we got into the fall of 22, it was kind of like a flight to safety was occurring to the Japanese yen. But did the Nikkei, crash? Did it crack? No. And then we had another fairly substantial little rally back over here a year in the fall of last year. Did the Nikkei crack? No. Then now we get this move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, bigger than the move a year ago. Okay, not as big as what happened in the fall. Of course, we're not done yet. We don't know. This may continue to go much higher. We'll see. And now the Nikkei cracks wide open. Okay, so let's take a look at the Nikkei. All right, let me pull that up right here. So here's the daily and the weekly view. Okay, so here's what happened. Here's Friday, August 2nd. But what's interesting is, our markets, which I'm about to look at, did a similar kind of thing, didn't get this kind of move, although it was a big breakdown. But the Nikkei was closed before the jobs report ever came out. So this collapse was happening, including this big move that happened on Friday, August 2nd. And what's this dashed line? This dashed line is the April lows. The April lows is, especially on the weekly, is a key pivot area. Okay, we haven't taken those out yet on our indices. Okay, but they smashed right through that without any problem the week before last. Okay, so the other thing I want to point out is look where the Nikkei peaked. It peaked on July 11th, 3 days before the S&P 500 peaked. So this has rolled over, come down hard, and broke down through. And this big move that happened, biggest percentage drop, one-day drop since 1987, minus 12.4% on that move. This took out the weekly pivot that occurred in December of 23. So it's going to be interesting to see, is the September, October lows going to hold in here? Yeah, it came back quite a bit Tuesday, Wednesday. We kind of stalled out, chopped around Thursday and Friday. We'll see where it goes from here. But that's one heck of a break, one heck of an earthquake that was going on. And of course, that earthquake rippled into our markets. So let's take a look before I go looking at the S&P. Let's take a look at the VIX, which of course Overnight, of course, because the Nikkei is ahead of the United States, overnight the futures were going in the tank big time. The VIX was starting to explode well before the market opened on Monday morning. And here's what happened in here. This is a daily view on the VIX. Here's Friday. Here's Monday. So what's interesting is the way they've got this set up, and I assume this is correct in terms of where it opened. It's showing that it opened basically right about where it closed, and then just did nothing but pushed all the way up into the 60s. Okay, and what's these dashed lines in here? That's where I've got that the market typically has, at least back in 82, let's put it that way, 82, 22, not 82, back in 22, you could see it would start to run into resistance as it got into that basically 33.5 to 36.5 area up in here, and then would turn back down. Not so much this last week. I mean, it closed above it on Monday, and I thought, well, what are we going to do? We're going to continue to chop higher, but no, it collapsed back down Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll see what happens next week. We're going to get a bunch more economic indicators. We're going to get CPI, PPI coming out this coming week. Another reading on the unemployment claims, etc. So a lot more stuff coming out. Now, let's take a look at what happened with the SPX and the SPY right here. So it was up 24.85 on Friday. This continues to look like a bear flag to me. We'll see if that's the way it plays out or not, because we had one heck of a break as a part of that whole earthquake that was shaking the world, okay? And then we bounce back in here. What I'm doing with these dashed lines, in the uptrend, we had pivots that were created from support areas, okay? Every one of these have been broken. And then in the downswing, we've created short-term pivots that also got broken as we were stair-stepping our way down here in the SPX. So right now, the near-term key low is 51.1926 right here, 51.1926. And then here's that April pivot, which has not been broken in the United States yet. Okay, so we'll see. Well, I take that back. I'm going to show you one sector that for sure has broken it. There may be others, but I'll show you one. It didn't close below it, but it broke it intra-week. Okay, so this is the SPX. Let's take a look at the SPY, and you're going to see the same kind of thing, just, the specific SPY numbers. Let me adjust that a little bit. So here's the picture. Here's the key low on the SPY, 510.27. Okay, and then here's that April low, which is right here. I want to make sure that, I'm going to pause that, make sure it comes across. Okay, so here's the April low right here. So the Elliott wave picture I've got on this is still a bullish scenario, and that's where we're working. That's what we've been working here. Now, we'll see how much of a fourth wave we get. As you know, fourth waves can become very complex. They can be a wide variety of things. I think there's really a potential of 13 different patterns that you can have in a fourth wave corrective type move. So we'll see what we get in here. The way I've got labeled a minor wave 2 over here, I've got it as an expanding flat. And so that would indicate, if we're doing, the guideline of alternation, that would mean we get more of a sharp type move in wave 4. Well, we're off to a running start in that. We'll see what we get. And does it stop at the low here in April, or does it just slide right on down through that? So right now, when I look at the daily view, I've got this as a zigzag, A, B, C, which could morph into something else. Or this could be part of a stronger downdraft impulsive move where this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get 5, etc. So we'll see what happens. Here's that April 15th low, which we are watching. Okay, so that is the SPY. So I talked about the upward spike that happened in the VIX. Well, over here on the high lows, on the New York Stock Exchange, we had kind of a downward spike. The reading that we got, it was about, I don't have the exact number in front of me. I think it was like minus 190-ish or so kind of thing. The lowest reading of the year and the lowest reading since October of last year. So a pretty hard move down as a part of that earthquake, okay? And the same thing, even more dramatic, happened with the NASDAQ down here to minus 500. So this reading is saying 500 more stocks hit 52-week lows than highs on the day. Okay, that's a lot of damage being done in here. Yeah, we got to bounce back, but that is one heck of a break. We're back. We're down into that territory that we got into in October of 23. Okay, so upward spikes, downward spikes, and then the last thing I'll leave you with is a look at the semiconductor in the Philly Semiconductor Index, the SOX. So it's mirroring the S&P in terms of stair-stepping its way down like this, breaking, basically support levels that were created on the way up. Well, here's that April low on a weekly basis over here. Went right through it. You can see it happened right here on Monday. Now, we didn't close below it, but we broke below it. So we'll see, is that enough of a weakening on that support level? And after getting a bounce back, are we going to come back down and head south? We'll see. I'm skeptical on the SPY. I'm skeptical that this is a rally that's going to continue to have legs. I just have a feeling that it's going to come back down and retest the lows at a minimum and most likely go for this April low. Okay, that's it for today. If you felt like the video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to this channel, hit that little subscriber button. And if you'd like more of this information on a daily basis, head on over to joehenches.net. All right, everyone, have a great week. It's going to be interesting.